If you're my girl and I bring you to a party and 5 dudes in there ran through you, socially that looks bad on me because you're an extension of me. Whereas if I bring you to the party and everybody's like, dang, she's so bad, and nobody touched it, but they wish they could, now I'm mad.
I think that's an inside.
So this is for your ego.
No, wait. This is
So a new study came out. It says 50% of men stopped approaching women. Now, when you hear that, what do you think?
So 1 in every 2 men just doesn't try anymore.
I agree with that.
Like at all.
50% of men have decided that there is no reason to approach women. Like they just, not at a bar, not at a club, not online. They just.
I just think that's shocking. Because like for what? Like just go up to a girl. Like why? Or
I mean, there's a reason.
We're supposed to speculate as to why.
Like, what do we think? Why would that be the reason? So, like, what is going on currently in, I guess, the world or in our social spheres that would like push men to feel that way? I guess suppress men.
I feel men don't want to put in effort anymore, like at all. So why approach someone?
I don't know why this is doing it.
Turn the
Hold
mic
on,
up.
mine was doing it too.
And then you gotta
Flip
rotate.
it upside down.
You
Rotate.
can't. That.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay, so
That's
you think.
You think it's because it's linked to effort?
A lot of things I feel like nowadays are just linked to effort. I feel like a lot of, and I think this goes for both men and women. Like we just don't want to try anymore. Like I think we want everything to be easy.
Do you think like social media, more so dating apps, kind of like pushed more people to be like that?
Yes.
In the sense of because you had so much access to
We have
people,
access to
it's so quick to like make a connection and not really care about it because I can go make another connection. I can
Absolutely.
go. I got 1,500 people in my inbox. Like, what's up?
Everything's fast now. Everything is right in front of you. And then I think like COVID made that so much worse.
But men also have social media. Y'all can
but
slide into 30 girls' DMs.
Social media isn't geared more for men. To be
I mean,
honest.
it's not, but it's not like y'all can't
Like,
use
I can
it.
slide into 30 DMs. I mean, that's not going to give me nothing back in return.
Well, it's not necessarily about like the sliding in the DM. There's a reason that precedes why they don't want to approach.
I'm gonna get crucified, and I'm only saying this like slightly, but is it because men are like not? And I don't mean it in like I don't mean it the way I think it's gonna sound. But are men like intimidated by women?
Oh, here we go.
No, but I mean
right.
not
So
in the
look.
way that it sounds. Like in the terms of like I don't mean it in terms of like we're like better. I mean intimidated in terms of like am I gonna do all of this and she isn't, like, do I feel like doing all of this stuff and I'm really not even gonna know where she stands, or if she's like only gonna use me for da-da-da, like are y'all intimidated by that thought?
Question: do men have a fear of vulnerability, and that's why they are afraid to approach women now?
Is it so? A lot of the answers have been men.
It's
not- wait.
It's men who are not approaching women.
Before we start pointing fingers,
I'm not pointing fingers. I'm
let's,
just
all right, let's,
question.
let's think like this real quick. Why did men approach women to begin with? Like, why did that start? Why do we do that traditionally? Do y'all know why?
You want a partner? No.
Why was it gender specific that a man took the initiative to approach a woman? Like, if that, for like the intents and purpose of a relationship, it's my duty or my responsibility as a man to take that initiative. Like, where do you think that started from, and what's the history there that you guys believe in?
I'm gonna say the Bible.
Let's start there.
So there's like traditions of like a man paying for a bride, like a bride price. Do y'all know about like the reasons behind
A dowry and like a.
Yeah. Like what's the
No, I don't know the reasons behind that.
Okay, so back in the day, like a woman's father would.
Why she
Because I'm Indian, so like I just like the whole concept of a dowry is just
like we in school
annoying.
or something like.
Well, in Indian culture, a woman's father, right, technically is taking care of the daughter. The man comes in, and when the man and the woman unite, now it's the man's responsibility to take care of, the woman, his daughter. So he pays. In Indian culture, the father pays actually.
Most cultures, like even in like
husband
African cultures, you do as well.
Take the daughter off his hands.
You pay a price for it.
Yeah, and so in terms of like what y'all are saying about like men are scared, I don't know if it's men are scared. I think it's like they don't feel like they're getting the same
lack of incentive
value in a woman that maybe they used to get back in the day. Like back in the 1800s, you knew that you were getting potentially a virgin. You knew she
All right,
wasn't.
you want a version?
But I'm breaking it down. Like,
no, go ahead, break the science
Do
down.
you want a version?
But think about it. The things that men care about typically are like fertility. She hasn't been like ran through. You know what I mean?
So youthfulness, I say
Purity.
that, you know.
Okay.
Purity, fertility, youthfulness, beauty, femininity. These are kind of the
This
things
is very
that.
interesting.
But these are the things that men typically cared about back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, I think not back in the day, even still.
Okay, let's take it out of back in the day. We're here.
Okay, even
No,
now.
right.
Do men care about that now? 'Cause I
Yeah.
don't think- What man?
I mean,
Not okay. So, not.
all right.
I will say not virginity.
Not
But
the-
the average man doesn't want to know that his girl got beat by
He don't-
70 people.
Not the small
He
subset
don't
of
have to
people
know
that
that,
Instagram
though.
shows you.
Well,
like,
it's a social aspect because if you're my girl and I bring you to a party and 5 dudes in there ran through you, socially that looks bad on me because you're an extension of me. Whereas if I bring you to the party and everybody's like, "Dang, she's so bad," and nobody touched it, but they wish they could, now I'm
I
mad.
think I think that's an inside.
So this is for your ego.
No, wait. This
Oh.
is
It's not an
this is
ego,
an
it's
inside
a-
thing that I think men more so care about, right? Like it's the look of a guy, right? No one wants to go in a room and know that everybody in that room touched his girl. That's just all men kind of think like that.
So it's your ego.
You can say it. I guess you can say it. You know, it's the same way as like if a girl's like if you know every girl in the city had your man at some point, and
But
you feel some,
Let's flip it this way.
which is kind of like if you don't care
In a
about
lot
it.
of circumstances, the men that we are with have been with probably 5 or 10 women in the room, whether we know it or not.
That's tough.
But
That's
it's
not
also the
not
truth.
most. That's
but
not
this
most
is
men.
where the double
That's
standard.
not most men. That's not most men.
That-
Most men aren't touching that many women in their lifetime.
Listen,
What?
Whoa.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, I'm just saying because to touch 10 people in the same room, that's you've been doing something.
Depends on the man.
well, so this is the thing. Y'all only see the top 20% of guys. Statistically, 1 in 3 men
think I've
have
seen the
not
top
had
20.
sex in the last year.
That's
That's another statistic. Since
That one's shocking.
So
Yeah,
in the
these-
last year, 1 in 3 men between 18 and 30 have not had sex in the last year or are a virgin.
Sound crazy.
So
Yeah,
what's happening right now is you're looking at, okay, 50% of men haven't approached women, right? Between 18 and 30. 63% of men have decided that they don't want any relationship with women at all, whether short-term, long-term, marriage, whatever. Now you're looking at men have decided that, like, maybe it's not worth it to get with women. The next statistic that should scare y'all is by 2030, 45% of women will be single and childless.
That doesn't scare me at all.
So you may have friends, right? You may have family members that by 2030, 45% of women, that's almost 50%. If
But
you put,
50%, 56% of women in a study a few years ago, they thought that pursuing a career was more important than pursuing a fulfilling career would be more worthwhile than pursuing a fulfilling marriage.
Agreed.
do they still believe that once they hit 40?
Well, I mean,
Because the statistic for the most depressed person in America is a woman that's 40, making $130,000 a year. That's childless. That's another statistic. So
But I also feel like women are choosing more and more to be single and childless these days. So
do you think they're happy like that?
I think some people maybe. I can't speak for all women, but there are women who do not want kids. There are some women that are happier being single than in relationships. So I feel like that may be what that statistic is these days.
and also like, so for that statistic, so there are more women who just aren't getting married and aren't having kids these days. So, but there's also the mentality of the grass is always greener on the other side. So if there's just statistically more women who are choosing that lifestyle, then there's just statistically going to be more women who are like, oh, would I have been happier if I had done what 50 years ago a lot of women were doing? Because there were a lot of women who were getting married and were in terrible marriages or had lots of kids, and that's not really what they wanted to do. And I'm sure there was a statistic from 50 years ago about women who were like so unhappy with what they had, and if they had been able to go be a doctor, or they had been able to pursue politics, or they had been able to go do something that they had no ability to do, then they would have been happier. But it's like the grass is greener on the other side.
And I think also, like, just to piggyback off what she said, like 50 or so years ago, women couldn't even have their own bank accounts. They relied on their husbands a lot more for things. And now you have women who are honestly more successful than men in many areas, especially career-wise, who are just happier with their lives than the women, like, of, I don't know, my grandmother's generation, who I know for sure were wishing death on their husbands, but just they just being real. Like they was like they couldn't wait for their husband to drop dead. They just stayed with them because for the security reasons. But women don't need that security as much as they used to anymore.
So pretty much, women have decided to become the men that they wish would pursue them. Essentially, it's like. Essentially, what you've just proven, if you're saying what you're saying, is like women have the opportunity to become doctors, lawyers. They have the opportunity to pursue their career, right? So they've went against the typical path of like starting the family young, being the stay-at-home housewife, and said, I want to be the man that I wish would pursue me. So I'm going to go for this career path. I'm going to go be a lawyer, a doctor, etc.
Why is it them pursuing the man that would pursue me and just not them pursuing their dreams and wanting to live the life that they want to live? Like, not everybody wants that type of partnership or romantic relationship. Not everyone wants to have every woman wants to have a child. Like, some women just want to be. And I think that's okay too.
Do y'all think the majority of women desire to be high-paced workers? Because that's the thing, like.
I mean, all right. So
no,
listen, wait.
I don't think the majority.
So
of women
we
want to
can
do that.
get really into like, I guess, preference of like what people want to do, right? People, if women want to be, they can be. The studies show that like long-term happiness for most human beings is having a partner that you spend the rest of your life with a family. That is true defined happiness statistically. Now, that might not be what you want. That might not be happiness that you seek, and that's okay to live the life you choose to live. But if your goal was to truly find happiness, that is where you would find it. So you can say that you're happy in what you want, which is cool, but you could lie to yourself all you want, or you can tell yourself a story. But the true matter is that it is hard work to find it, but that is the goal if you're trying to be happy long term. If you're trying to take life to 80, 90, and have somebody with you the whole way through. Because life does get harder after 45 statistically, and that's when you do care to have that person in your corner. And most people end up not having it and dying and being miserable and having regret.
You ever seen
down
like
the road.
the little old ladies on social media they be like almost 100 years old, and they be like, what? Like they be asking questions like, oh, how did you live this long? You look so youthful, and like you're still like sharp and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They be like, because I ain't have no man.
No, but okay, to be fair, there also are a few couples that are like 100 and something, and they're like.
But no, so you also have to remember that
women who are okay.
Social media is always a small subset of what the world image really is. So if you look at, if you take the whole sample set of the whole world, I think that would be the opposite of what people think happiness is. Like a lot of people find true happiness solo dolo, and that might just be what circumstance has for their life, which is cool.
I'm not disagreeing.
But I don't think at the majority. You would see it like that.
Right? I'm not disagreeing that women who chose their career are not like when they get to 40, they're not going to feel like they wish they had a partner. They're not going to feel like they wish they had kids. Like that's why I said the argument was the grass is greener on the other side. I feel like as human beings, we're always going to want what we did. A lot of us want what we don't have. Yeah. So in terms of like women at 40 feeling content with the path that they chose, I feel like a lot of women could be upset that they didn't meet the right partner. They could feel like they made the mistakes, like they let go of a guy because they thought they could find something better and then they couldn't.
I mean, we're humans. We're happier with purpose. So you gotta want to do something. After a while, you're gonna get to your career and realize, all right, well, this is not really like my lifelong dream. Nobody's lifelong dream is to work. No, it's not. For nobody, I don't care how much money you're making. You want to do what you think you want to do.
Right.
And it's not working for some consulting firm making some bread, So it's like. It's not.
Is he in the room okay?
No, to make money though. You be a partner, you make some good bread. You make it, $500K up, But, I just think that, y'all put some thought into it.
What do y'all think women find fulfillment in? Because I can tell you men find fulfillment in purpose. Mm-hmm. Men don't have an issue with driving towards their purpose and creating a legacy. My presumption is that women find purpose in family. When women have kids, they typically say that the most important thing to them is not their career anymore. It's the kids. It's the family.
Well, scientifically, we're built that way. But everybody is. Y'all are built to spread your seed, and we're built to also, like, nurture our young. And
so do you see it connect
line.
when 50% of men have said there's no reason to approach women, 63% say they're done dating because women have said, I want to chase a career. I don't want to chase a man. I don't want to chase family.
But we've never wanted to chase a man. That's never been what we wanted to do.
Not I.
Historically,
Okay,
historically we wanted to have a family, but
Take the
historically
word
women have
chase.
never wanted
Women
to chase
have
a man.
prolonged. You gotta understand. When I said 45% of women will be single and childless in 2030 for the first time ever, right? Women are putting off building families
Yeah.
Right,
for a career,
right.
and men are saying, well, "What's the point of me getting with a woman for a career?" When most of the time you bring up like a woman's like. Women will bring to the table and say, oh, well, I make this type of money, but they don't want to go 50-50. They don't want to contribute to the bills. They don't want to.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. You're saying the purpose of me making this money is to use it, right? I'm trying to build a house, build a family, build a fort, set up funds so that we can be good generational wealth. And a lot of times, women will chase careers, but that money really isn't used. A lot of times you see in these studies, women that have money still don't want to spend it, right? I heard this thing called on Twitter called black tax, where it's like, we just got our money. Why do we still need to contribute to, what a man should be doing already? But it's like, well, you making 700, 800K, like you getting that bag, you working, like invest in the progress of the situation.
Why can't a woman just invest in herself, and it doesn't have to exactly be towards anything like a family or whatever,
Sure.
or what have you?
But it's like if you enter into a relationship, now you made a commitment, right? To say, we're doing this together.
Right.
And I'm going to invest in the thing we're doing.
Right.
Right. So I'm going to contribute however I need to, and he's going to contribute, or whoever the partner is going to contribute to how we see fit. And we're going to move this shit forward to get to the goal we deem necessary when we enter the relationship. So it's like there is some contribution to some degree, for sure. Like, unless you was like, I'm in a relationship where I just want one person to take care of somebody else.
But does that contribution have to be 50-50? Because this is a big topic now, the 50-50
Well, not like 50-50 in the sense of like
I don't think anything in a
everything down the
relationship
line.
is 50-50.
It's like 50-50 in the
mean-
terms of like effort. Like I bring 100% effort, you bring in 100% effort. You're sharing the load of whatever the responsibilities are, right? Like it's different tasks throughout the relationship and throughout the journey. It looks different.
But is it all monetary? Because
No, it's not monetary.
Okay.
But I think the thing is that a lot of people have a strong attachment to finance.
Of course.
So it's like where you see people's money is where you see people's interest. So if I'm spending money on you and I'm investing money on you, you know I like you or you're invested in me, vice versa, right? If you're spending all that hard-earned money, you're making 40 hours a week, you kind of like me. You kind of invested in what we're doing, But if you're not, you're kind of like it can come off as reserved, like you're not too invested in moving the train. So it's like it's investment in all fields, spiritually, physically, mentally, financially.
I mean, I think the healthy way is to be around 50-50. It's going to maneuver around. But I think what y'all are maybe trying to say that women don't really believe that in this.
Women don't necessarily like to invest financially in relationships. I'm not saying they don't do it, but it's not like we do it with a smile on our face because we know we need to do that, right? Like we are supposed to provide. So we come and we take the initiative and we do it with a smile.
But I also feel like men like doing stuff like that. Like
I mean, we
you
were raised
said,
to do it. Socially, we were raised
so-
to be stoic in
But
that
I
way.
also feel like a lot of like men attach their value to things like that a little bit. Like
Some men have a hard time separating themselves because for a lot of men, like you don't start getting attention until you become financially like visible, right? Like our value is in our hard work as a man. No one knows you until you're somebody. And so when you do, for some dudes, they have a really strong attachment because it for some people, it made them. You went from, on the floor of the house to a penthouse, and now you're like, that's how it got me there. And they have an attachment. And some people have a hard time. And there's some men who are mentally wise and know how to create that separation and still be who they are and what they need to be and don't let the money make them. And you have to find those guys and have discernment for that, But it's out there, it's work. But,
So to close out this, you made a statement about like some women would prefer to, I guess, live a life like on their own or like.
I told you about my aunties that wish their husband dropped dead. That was
So they got married and then they hated being married.
Yes.
Do you believe that?
And I feel like they weren't able to live the lives that they potentially may have wanted for themselves because during that time period, and we're talking about time period, they weren't able to, like financially and everything. Husband was a breadwinner. You get married, you have kids. This is what you do. This is what we're raised to do. And now we have the resources. We have the careers and everything to do. We have actual bank accounts on our own to do the things that we want to do. So necessarily, we don't need men for those specific things. which we can find happiness in other ways outside of just being with a man or having kids or having a family. There are so many other things that we can do for ourselves now. So I think that's the difference.
Okay.
There's a very thin line between marrying the wrong person and then like not marrying.
You could have
Because
thought they were the right person at the.
I'm saying, but like,
But when you're stuck in a situation because you can't do anything for yourself now, like then
Yeah.
you stay most of the time.
I mean, they could have left and then been on, and then government assistance, and then they could have figured out a way
You
to
could've.
fi-
but I'm saying
financially
like,
make themselves
I
together.
feel like
But it was harder.
a while.
yeah,
a while
in those
ago,
times
people,
it was harder.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people back then, like, you know, they got you. It was, you know, the our lifespan is increasing, and that's another reason why things are like more delayed now. Like, I know, like, I don't know what 20, 30 years ago, like us not being married at 28 was like a crazy thing. It's like you're not gonna have no time to have no babies. Like you all by yourself. Nobody's gonna want you.
And
So
now people
old.
are waiting.
It's like now it's like, oh, if you have a kid at 35, like it's like whatever.
It's normal.
So
Biologically, it's not. That's
It's-
geriatric
yeah,
pregnancy.
it's a geriatric pregnancy, but it's a lot of
But
people
it-
having
a lot of people
That doesn't
it's not,
make it
it's not
right.
as life
It does-
If
threatening as
everybody
it used
jump
to
off a
be.
bridge, is it right?
Okay, that's
Which is-
extreme.
No,
I'm saying,
but it's the principle still.
I'm saying-
Biologically, nothing has changed.
Okay, both of y'all.
That's not
30s?
true.
Are y'all in your 30s now?
I am 30.
I'm 30.
And you still don't have kids.
Oh, yeah.
Well, men don't have the same clock though.
I'm just saying. But she could easily get to 30. Y'all might wait a little longer.
I think what,
after you get married.
what she's
Wait.
saying is
It
when you
could
do have a potential partner, her clock becomes your clock. Like
Right.
that's your clock now.
Right.
Right.
But I mean,
But you're not 30.
I'm not forced to be with that joint. I can go get a 23-year-old
Is
clock.
that what you like to do?
It's a choice.
Well, it goes back to what I said. Men
Be careful.
like
I'm just
fertility.
saying, it's a choice. It's just like,
But that's the thing. What I was saying at the beginning. Men prefer fertility. Men want to be able to procreate and extend their legacy. So if you're telling me that women are putting off 35 plus, they're putting off having kids, then that may explain why men are saying, well, what's the point of me getting with women if they're
But
not
that's not
offering
all
fertility?
women. You said basically the statistic was 1 in every 2 men just gave up, and it's like, well, what am I supposed to do if you just gave up? Like, there's women out there who will still cook and clean and who will still do all the things that they used to do. Like whenever, like why would you just give up? Because
Do you-
we're all the women are not the same.
Can I also ask what demographic of men this is?
All men in the
Like
United States,
all
18 to 30.
men. Like
18 to 30.
going based off of race too, or no?
No,
All
I think
races.
it's all,
Okay,
it's all
it's
men
all
in the
men.
18 to
U.S.
30.
yeah, we
Yeah.
just talking about the United
But
States.
see, the 18 also confused me because at 18, like, why are you so scarred that you can't go after a woman?
But that's what I'm saying.
First of all,
because
18, just go to other teams.
But in certain
No.
parts of the state, after high school, you become a man and you live in life. You can start.
Nobody
If I'm-
cares about Alabama.
You don't
If I'm-
have, but that's.
If
After
I'm
high school,
18,
you ain't a man yet.
if I'm an
Or-
18-year-old
I mean,
man,
they're not, but you don't have to go to college. You can start building your life from
You
right
can
there,
build your
and you
life however
can.
you
What
wanna
they
live it,
found
but
is
at
that-
18,
what they
are you
found
talking
is
about?
that in
31%
college-
of America has a bachelor's degree, so that means 70% of America did not go to college.
Right.
So most niggas don't got that.
An 18-year-old shouldn't be taking shit seriously.
Okay, but this
Figuring
is
out their lives.
but this is the thing. It's like, all right, what they found is that in college, you're in college, you're 20, 21, right? The girls in your class, the women in your class, they're getting shot at by guys across the country, guys that are making a lot more money than whatever you're making in college, guys that are ball
Nothing.
players, rappers, entertainers. So you can't really compete. So a lot of guys,
But
maybe,
not every girl is getting hollered at by ballers
Hold
and
on,
rappers.
hold on
and
now.
Fact.
Everybody is lied on in social media, so most people look better than they do. So a lot of people are getting more attention than
do
they
you
normally
have
would in
friends
person.
that have been shot at by rappers and ball players?
Yes.
Athletes.
So,
Come on, everybody.
so
come
I
on.
mean, they're just regular.
Okay, but
That's just a regular-
respectfully and
And respectfully,
humbly,
I'm a bad-
humbly.
respectfully.
No, not even me, but like humbly. I don't hang out with like.
Here we go.
The average person I hang out with is.
Here we go.
is
There we go.
There we
Leave me
go.
alone.
what I mean?
Leave me alone.
Wait,
Okay,
here we go.
I'm
Delusion.
taking myself
Go
out of
ahead.
it. The average person, the average woman, is not getting hollered at by ball players. There's
That's-
only
that's
so many
cap.
ball players around. That's
Come
not
on.
That's
cap.
not cap.
They sleep with
The
everybody.
average
It
woman
don't
is-
really matter.
The average woman is not getting hollered at
Not
by
every ball
like,
player is attractive too.
Huh?
There's a lot of ball players on that roster. Some of them be on the bench. They still ball players. They being
I don't
DMs.
think the average girl is getting like hella offers day in and day out from people who are like six figures and like well off.
no,
Like
it's
no,
not-
Why
That's
do
a lot of
y'all
swabs out
believe
here.
that?
I think even when
I would-
even when
listen, I would
I
say-
was single,
men spread
I was
their-
not getting hollered
they
at by
spread their
ball
hands-
players every other day. Like that's
No.
not a thing. I
Not-
think actually,
I'm not saying every other day,
Just
but
giving scrub
compared to a
behavior.
man,
Just
and
giving scrub behavior.
a 21-year-old girl has probably been shot at by at least one ball player, entertainer, athlete compared to an average 20-year-old man. Rihanna's never gonna shoot at a guy in college. Rihanna's like,
she's
that'll
smart.
never
She go
happen.
find the oil
Well,
tattoos.
Dre did.
Like, but most
No,
of
he
the
was-
young
he's
dudes
a
never
top
get
tier.
those- They never get
True.
those high level girls at that level. Will never in
But
their life.
okay, so you're saying that one of the reasons men don't shoot their shot anymore is because they just assume that all women are getting something that's way above them already. That's why
There's
they won't do it.
there's a few
for,
reasons.
So for instance, like you'll talk to a girl who might be like in college where none of the dudes in college make enough money for her because she's somebody who got a college degree, made some six figures. He's taking her to ball games, high-end restaurants. So your college Joe don't got enough money to take me to
Where were
Ruth
these
Chris.
men?
That's what I'm saying.
I couldn't find them when I was in college.
maybe not in your time.
But you don't see them. You don't even look their way. That's my thing.
No,
It's like-
I'm saying where were the men who were taking college girls to courtside seats? I never got to sit courtside in college.
All right, but just because
I
it
was
didn't happen to
watching
you,
it in the commons like everybody else.
Diamond, please.
Why else were you in college?
Please.
Yo.
Relax. It's okay.
but,
Are you upset?
but the
A
point.
little bit.
My thing is, all right, in terms of the implications of the situation, I see that we all have differing opinions on why it exists. What are the implications of if this continues? If men continue to say, this isn't worth it, I'm going to go overseas, or I'm just going to not date women at all, like, what does that do to society?
I'm all for population control.
Jeez, that's
I
strong.
feel
What? I think the world is
I mean-
overpopulated. I mean, I think
We'll have
in the
more
grand scheme of the
incels,
black family,
And we'll
I
probably
don't
have more happier women. There you go.
I mean, currently,
So you-
so no. So currently, you look at it like where we have a flux of more, softer men being produced.
Oh, that,
In a
child.
sense of when I say soft, I mean men who don't have the capacity to control their emotion. Soft.
That seems to be happening already.
But I'm just telling, it's at a flux, right?
Well, they're
You
saying
know?
that that's one of the
So
implications
that's a side
I hear
effect.
what
What I'm
you're
saying,
saying.
this is a side effect of what's going on, right? Especially with this gentle parenting. But what?
So what does that have to do with the
Yeah.
women?
No. But what I'm saying is that what happens when you have 70%, 80% of men never wanting to talk to women? That's a problem. At some point, you might have a daughter, and you might want the daughter, if you got married and had a family, you might want the daughter to emulate the life that you had. But
I
then
wouldn't, but
I'm just saying.
So y'all don't see
If-
nothing wrong
No,
with
I'm not saying. I'm
if-
not saying
if-
I don't. I am scared for the structure of the black family. I am scared. I don't like to hear that we don't get married as much. I don't like to hear black men have to marry outside of their race.